What's happening? It's week 6. I'm Yogi Roth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. Got some fun games this weekend. I think I got the game of the week out west with number 13 Washington State visiting UCLA at the Rose Bowl. There's a lot to talk about in that game and to get to it in a moment. But first, I want to make sure that I give a message to the next generation of broadcasters, because I've been asked about what happened last weekend around Washington State a bunch, whether it was on social media, people I've seen at the airport, or just friends of mine around sports media. And I do have a take on it. And I'm talking about what was said from Pat McAfee in his response to comments that Jake Dickert made, that Lee Corso made, that Ryan Leaf made. Just a lot of dialogue around that. And here's where I net out for the next generation of broadcasters. College football is this sacred sport. It's this beautiful, beautiful game. And I'm always reminded and often reminded that, that ball you see right behind me is that we don't exist without the game, without the ball. And over the last decade or so, we've seen the embrace debate culture in sports television grow and grow and grow. And I think that if I was in college, if I was the young version of me at 21, 22, trying to figure out what to do with my life after football or what to do while I'm in communication or broadcasting school, you might be thinking, like, I got to be the loudest person in the room. Because that's what it seems like it is now. The louder you get, the more opportunity you get. And I'm here to say to this next generation that I don't think that's the case. I'm here to remind you that while the embrace debate culture unfortunately bled into Saturday, the most sacred day in college football, that's not what this craft is about. I learned this from my partner, Ted Robinson. We've been together for almost a decade now. And he's always and often reminding me, thankfully, Yogi, it's about the game. It's not about a shtick. It's not about being loud. It's not about an argument. It's not about igniting a fan base. It's about celebrating and calling the game. And sometimes you got to challenge a play call. Sometimes you have to offer opinions. I get what the job is. I get what the job description is. But I think what we saw over the weekend was the louder you get, the debate, embrace debate culture, it bled into game day. And I don't think that's what this sport is about. And maybe it's going to become that. Maybe that's just where we are with realignment and the craziness we've seen in college football and the unfortunate element that is where Oregon State and Washington State reside today in our sport, seeking stability. But I just think for the young up-and-comer, you're going to pattern your career probably after people you see a lot, people you track a lot, people you maybe record and study a lot. I'm here to tell you, if you want to be a broadcaster, if you want to call games, if you want to develop your career in the media, yes, you can try to be the loudest person in the room. But I really trust and believe that the longevity, the ones that are really admired in facilities by coaching staffs and players and parents who go to games and fans who study and watch games, are the ones that make it about the game. It's not about you. It's not about being loud. It's not about always debating when it comes to Saturday. And I want to say that because I think that if I was coming up right now in a journalism school, I'd probably be struggling with, like, how am I finding my voice? Do I need to be the loudest one? Do I need to scream and yell, call people out left and right? I don't think that's the way to longevity. I don't think that's the way to true success in this profession. So with that said, I hope that the next gen, and I hope the ones that are doing it now, look at this past weekend and say, God, it kind of got a little ugly, right? It got out of whack. It got wonky, because that's not what this sport is about. And I don't think that's what the coverage of this sport should be about. It should be about elevating the game, coaching the viewer, celebrating it, challenging it when it's appropriate to challenge. But it's not about screaming. And it's definitely not trying to be louder than the next person. So with that said, I hope UCLA fans are extremely loud this weekend. It's a heck of a weekend in LA. I'm going to go to both games. So let's talk about Washington State at UCLA. Cameron Ward, Heisman contender. Cameron Ward, you got to talk about this. He has the most pass attempts in the country without an interception among anybody. He needs to be square in the dialogue. The challenge for him, as we all know, is that Caleb Williams is playing out of his mind. Bo Nix is playing out of his mind. You look at this league, Michael Penix Jr. is playing out of his mind. Like, you've got three of the best quarterbacks in America, might be the three best in your league, but it's early. So let's keep talking about Cameron Ward. I can't wait to watch him in this Washington State offense led by Ben Arbuckle go up against D'Anton Lynn and this UCLA defense. It's much improved. Leatu Latu is a beast. I like the three layers of this UCLA defense, specifically their front seven. And when you flip it on the other side, Dante Moore, true freshman. He's such a gifted player, but he's coming off probably the most challenging performance of his quarterbacking life on the road at Utah 2 weeks ago. He's had a bye. Both teams have had a bye. How does he respond against a very active and aggressive defense led by, of course, Ron Stone Jr. and Brennan Jackson, the two edges for the Cougs? We're going to be all over this game. Cannot wait. It's a noon kickoff. If you come, make sure you hydrate. It's going to be pretty hot, I think, at the Rose Bowl. And if you watch it, hope you enjoy it. After that game, I'm actually going to head cross town and go to watch SC Arizona. Heading into the season, I called this my upset special of the year. I don't know what we're going to get Saturday night, because I don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Wildcats. I had Arizona over the weekend against UW, and they're going to move the ball. I believe in that. I like their offensive line. I think they got two of the best tackles in the country, in Jordan Morgan and Jonas Savaiinaea. They're going to run the ball with physicality, and we know USC is going to score. So I think this is going to be Pac-12 after dark. And it'll probably come down to which offense is more efficient. You usually go to turnovers there. And defensively, like, who's giving up explosives? Arizona did a great job last week against UW. UW came into the game with 39 explosive plays, number one in America. They only allowed 2 because they kept everything in front of them. So did they do that, or they try to be more aggressive? Against Caleb Williams, you're aggressive and you miss. He usually makes you pay. So it's going to be a fun element to study. In the desert, Colorado and ASU, it's going to be about 98 degrees at kickoff. Does that affect Colorado? I'll say this. I was pretty impressed with the Buffs and coming back. The sign of year one of a team is incremental growth. And after that performance against Oregon in the first half against SC, you're wondering, where is this team full of so many new faces? Well, this team didn't flinch. They battled back. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, has his team competing. Can't wait to just see that one play out on Saturday afternoon. It won't be easy. I think they're the better team with where we sit right now among Arizona State and Colorado. But how do they handle the heat? How do they handle an environment that doesn't have everybody in the country, flocking to that campus to watch it like it has been for the first month of the season for Colorado? So we'll see. I'm looking forward to watching that one. Travis Hunter, it sounds like he's going to be out a couple more weeks for the Buffs. And then the nightcap, Oregon State Cal. This is a sneaky good game. If you love X's and O's, this is the game. Jonathan Smith, Brian Lindgren, Jim Mahalchik. You're talking about this offensive core group of coaches for the Beavs. X's and O's, they're awesome. And then on the defensive side, Justin Wilcox, Peter Sermon, it's as good as you'll find in the sport at game planning. So what is this like? I don't know who's going to win this game. I could see it going either way. For Cal, they have to be efficient, though. They cannot turn the ball over at the quarterback position. And then let's look at DJ Uiagalelei. How does he play on the road? What's his efficiency like? And does Aiden Child's role grow? We saw him come in for a drive in their game against Utah. Huge win last Friday night for the Beavs. So there it is, heading into week 6. I know I got a little esoteric there off the top, but I think if I'm a young journalist, young broadcaster, I'm looking, how do I do this thing? What's my voice? I think the number one thing for young broadcasters everywhere is to get to know your voice and then begin the road to mastery. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. I'm still on that road. I don't have it nailed just yet, but you keep working at it. And I think it's important to have just kind of that conversation every once in a while. What do I want my voice to be? What is my voice at its most authentic voice? Where am I at my best? So it might be yelling and screaming. It might be calling games. It might be somewhere in between. But as long as you own it, and as long as that is most authentic to you, then you'll be fine. So there it is, week 6. Thanks for the listen, the watch. Kick it over to a friend. Hopefully you enjoy this. Any questions, just ping me on Twitter, on any form of social media. Try to answer your questions as we continue on this YouTube series every single week. Peace.